most me it's ever been. I don't know, I think I know myself better than I ever have, and so what I make kind of reflects that, I guess. And I don't feel like I'm flailing as much in trying to figure out who I am. I was sick all the time. When I did Colors, I had a really bad cold, and I remember being so upset because I was so excited to do it, and then I was sick, and I was like, no, I'm gonna sound so bad, and no one's gonna like it, and no one's gonna wanna watch it, and I just was really nervous, and it ended up being like really huge for me. I think it was like my introduction for a lot of people. I think a lot of people found me off of that. Well, creating music is such a healing thing. When you get to write a song, it's like a way of being heard and seen, even by yourself. I just feel like it's like the most perfect way to express yourself, and it feels so rewarding, and it feels so freeing and cathartic. It's been such a help in my life and my, mental health journey. I really used to not like songwriting, and I really kind of want to do anything but. And I think that's because I didn't think I was very good, and that was very frustrating, and it took me a long time when I would write. My brother was such a good writer, and so quick, like immediately. He's kind of a genius. I think that was just challenging for me, because I was like, how could I ever compare to Phineas as a musician? He's the best to ever do it. Throughout the years, Phineas has only ever said that I'm a good writer. It was only my own brain. I've been doing this for a long time, but not really in the scheme of like life. And I'm only like 22 right now, and that feels so old to me because I started when I was 14. But I really do believe that in the future, I will look back at this period of time and this album and truly believe that it was the most honest that I'd been and the most like myself that I had been. I'm not playing a character right now, and that feels really good. Yeah, but it was really fun. I know. I'm great. Yeah. The Beatles is what I can blame for my and Phineas's way of songwriting, honestly, in so many ways, but specifically the way that we layer vocals and all the harmonies and all the chords. Like that was really our biggest, I think, influence growing up. I mean, the way that the Beatles did all their harmonies was so just like nothing else had ever been, and they were just so cool and so weird and unexpected and beautiful, and I think that was a big thing. And then also, I gotta give a lot of credit to growing up in a choir. Phineas and I both grew up in choirs. It's the most beautiful thing in the world, and I learned so much about harmony. I also was just so moved by that, and that was one of our first like things that we had, was like all the vocals and all the layering, and then we've stuck with it. We still do it just how we used to, which is cool. I think of them as kind of like sister songs. Skinny was made first, and to be real, What Was I Made For would never have been written if we hadn't made Skinny. I've said it before, but this was like a period of time where Phineas and I were very uninspired and really low self-esteem, and we hadn't written one whole song for the album at all, and we'd been working for like months, and we'd made pieces of stuff, but kind of were nervous that we didn't have it in us anymore. And it was like the end of December, and Phineas and I got into kind of like not necessarily an argument, but like a very intense, long, serious conversation. And I'm pretty sure that at the end of that, Phineas just got out his guitar, and It was the electric guitar, and he plugged it into the speakers, and so it had that exact sound that's already on the record. I had the handheld mic, and I just started just making stuff up, and then we wrote that whole song that night, and that was a big moment for us. And it was also really special because so many of the lyrics were things that I'd been feeling and hadn't been able to see that I was even feeling, or at least express, and then writing about them. And it was really spectacular. And then, honestly, like 2-3 weeks later, we saw the Barbie movie and we were told to write the Barbie song. Sat down and wrote almost all of What Was I Made For in like under 2 hours, if not 1 hour. I don't know, it's just really special to think about that those songs wouldn't be anything without each other in a way. A lot of visuals come to mind when I think of Bittersweet. The ending part was all it was for a long time. And then Finneas texted me a video, which was that he was like, dude, look what I found. And it was this track that we had just forgotten that we'd made at some random point that was then what now is the beginning of Bittersweet. But then it was just this like little random thing that we made. And then we put them together and made them into one song. I remember listening to it in my pool when we finished it and just like was brought to this other place in my mind, which was really interesting. I think also Birds of a Feather is I'm very sensory about that one. I have a lot of memories tied to that song, not great ones, and then also good ones. And it's also a song that I was really nervous about putting out because I didn't know if it was good or not. I really loved it, but I was kind of like, I don't know if it's just me that's gonna love it though, because sometimes that can happen. And it's been amazing to like hear people's love for it and see people really feeling connected to it.
Great. Yeah, I'll probably be here.
The early on years touring and the little tiny rooms that I would play. As soon as I would finish the show, I wouldn't even go backstage. There wasn't even a backstage. I would just go into the crowd and I would meet everyone. I'd give everyone a hug and I'd talk to them and I would take a picture with everyone and sign whatever they had. And I think those were such important moments in my life and who I am as an artist. Without those, I wouldn't be where I am, and I don't think I would feel how I feel and have the connection that I have with the fans. Advice is a tricky thing. It's so hard to like listen to. The day after the Grammys, that first time, Alicia Keys called me and she said, don't be embarrassed for being dope. And that was very special and impactful. So thanks, Alicia. That's a great question. These are good questions. I think you know when you find your people when you don't feel stupid. You hang out with the wrong people, but you don't necessarily know they're the wrong people, and you kind of leave feeling like, I wasn't being funny enough, I wasn't being cool enough, I feel bad about this thing that I said, I feel embarrassed about this thing that I did. And the right people will not make you feel bad about being yourself. That feeling of acceptance and love makes you feel so confident and so good. And at that point, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. When I'm with a group of friends that I love so much and that make me feel safe and seen, I am not thinking one time about if people think we're being annoying or cringy or stupid or loud. I laugh at everything. I'm laughing at literally everything. It doesn't even barely have to be funny. I love to laugh. I would say keep doing what you're doing. I think you did a pretty good job. And don't be too hard on yourself. And don't be embarrassed. Keep being Billy, and you'll be okay. I forgot that sometimes, so don't forget. And also, well done. Congrats on the Grammys. Thanks, Colors. See you next time.